Quality control system of an organization comprises not only the management and employees of the organization, but also its various stakeholders and suppliers. Adherence of all such auxiliary business units to optimal quality standards is an essential criterion of the concerned organization's quality control setup, failure of which can often lead to grave situations. For example, let's look at the case of the NASA's Space Shuttle Challenger explosion that occurred in 1986. On January 28, 1986, the NASA Shuttle Orbiter mission STS-51L and the 10th flight of Space Shuttle Challenger or OV-99 exploded 73 seconds into its flight immediately after its launch, killing all 7 crew members, which consisted of 5 NASA astronauts and 2 payload specialists. The failure of this mission was attributed to defective O-ring seals used in the joint of the Challenger's solid rocket booster, which were not designed to handle the unusually cold temperatures that existed during the launch. The O-ring seals became brittle and eventually broke, setting the booster on flame and damaging the external fuel tank, which caused the spacecraft to explode and disintegrate. Later, during an investigation, it was found that Morton Thiokol, the company that designed the solid rocket boosters, had ignored warnings about potential issues. Though the NASA managers knew that their supplier's design had a potentially catastrophic flaw in the O-ring, they failed to address it and take appropriate action. Additionally, a huge financial loss that accounted to over $1 billion was also witnessed. The cost of redesigning the O-rings also amounted to a few $100,000. This led to one of the disastrous spacecraft missions in the history of NASA shuttle program. It was definitely a breach of the quality rule, which states that an organization must have a mutually beneficial supplier relationship and must ensure that the suppliers are able to deliver optimal results. Besides these, NASA had also disregarded warnings from engineers about the dangers of launching the spacecraft in low temperatures, which ultimately led to the failure of the O-ring seals. This further highlights another breach of a quality rule that calls for an organization to take a factual approach to its decision-making abilities. In simple terms, you must know the facts and use them when required to avert any untoward situation. This brings us to a pragmatic definition of quality given by Aristotle, who told that quality is not an act but a habit. The quality control system of an organization can be effective only when it involves efficient employees and people who possess a sense of accountability to their company and also towards producing quality products. This can be achieved through a better communication network between the organization management and its employees and by properly addressing consumer-related issues. But what happens when such things tend to lack in a business organization? It leads to breach of quality rules to the tune that can incur massive financial loss and additional production costs, just like the one that happened when the renowned car company Toyota had to issue an emergency recall of its 9 million cars from the market in the year 2009. Toyota had to face this problem due to problematic floor mat and defective brakes in its cars, which led to unintended acceleration reported by thousands of customers across the globe. This caused several road accidents, leaving a total of 52 people dead and 38 injured. Quality had always been Toyota's utmost goal as a car company, and they did everything to ensure continuous improvement in this area. However, in the 1990s, Toyota decided to become the world's biggest car company, prioritizing market growth over its quality standards. Eventually, This led to less employee management and sharing of best practices. By doing so, Toyota as a company broke one of the major quality rules, which is effective involvement of its own people in maintaining good quality standards and manufacturing quality products. Taking responsibility of this embarrassing situation, the then Toyota president, Akio Toyoda, apologized and stopped the sales and production of the company's 8-car models. Toyota not only drew a lot of flack from the media and its market competitors after this setback, but also incurred a huge financial loss amounting to $5.5 billion. To overcome this, Toyota advised its employees to inculcate in them a sense of work responsibility, to be more proactive and act as a role model in their work environment so that they could achieve their business goals and satisfy customers better. As a result, better communication of consumer issues with the company's management was called for, and the company's Global Quality Committee aimed to be more responsive to consumer concerns. Therefore, it is true that good quality work, product or service cannot be achieved by an organization unless and until it provides a healthy working environment to its employees, who in turn would proactively execute their assigned roles and responsibilities. As Philip Crosby had rightly said, quality is indeed the result of a carefully constructed environment. Much in the line of the first example that we discussed earlier. Another horrific quality control fail, which led to the largest environmental disaster in US history, is the explosion of Deepwater Horizon rig, owned and operated by offshore oil drilling company Transocean and leased by oil company BP in 2010. On the fateful night of April 20, 2010, a surge of natural gas blasted through a concrete core of the rig that was recently installed by contractor Halliburton in order to seal the rig well for later use. This happened because the concrete core was too weak to withstand the pressure, as it was composed of a concrete mixture that used nitrogen gas to accelerate curing. The accident took the lives of 11 workers and injured 17 more. It also incurred a financial loss of $10 billion to the oil company BP, besides killing marine animals and causing an environmental loss that was inestimable. After an investigation, the reason behind this disaster was found to be the weak cement core around the well of the rig. It was also noted that in order to save time and money, contractors had failed to properly test the cement, breaching a major quality rule concerned with process approach that states that a company must know its input and output requirements well to adhere to absolute quality standards. Moreover, the technicians working that time in the rig had incorrectly interpreted a pressure test and had ignored alarming danger signs, such as a rising losing fluid from the rig. This was again breach of another quality rule, which is lack of factual approach to decision-making abilities, especially during times of adversity. What followed this terrible disaster was a blame game involving all the three concerned parties: Transocean, the owner of the rig; oil company BP, who had taken it for lease; and Halliburton, the contractor, who had supplied the botched cement. While Transocean and BP blamed each other, they both jointly ended up blaming Halliburton for supplying the botched cement used for the concrete core around the rig well. And on the other hand, the US government, who blamed all the three parties, was criticized for lack of proper regulation. Therefore, each of these concerned parties broke a quality rule dealing with system approach to management. It basically meant that all the parties lacked understanding of the other party's input into their work. Quality control system therefore requires a collaborative approach across all concerned sectors of an organization. It's a teamwork where each party executes their roles effectively and takes responsibility of their work individually without depending on or blaming others for any possible mistake. In true words of Henry Ford, we can say that quality means doing it right when no one else is looking. Therefore, from these three examples, one important thing that we learn is that all these companies broke the cardinal quality rule, that is, customer-based organization. As part of a company adhering to perfect quality standards, you must understand the company's internal and external customer needs and must strive not only to meet and satisfy those requirements, but to exceed them. Click Next to continue.